Letting number 8652. Concrete and brick removal, replacement, and complete sidewalk installation, SP 105. We have 3 bids. SBC Contracting, Inc. SBC Contracting, Inc. $819,132.50. 819132.50. Gershenson Construction Company, Inc. GERSHENSON Construction Company, Inc. $852,050. 852050.00. Rainier Construction, LLC. RAINERI Construction, LLC. $851,355. 851355.00. With the low bidder, please meet with Ms. Ben in the hallway. Thank you.
You can have this. I made this just for you. Okay. The only thing we need to put on there is figure out what we consider jobs. This is a health system. All the stuff you know. You got on a heavy coat.
I know, I'm cool walking in. Completely worn off though.
Is it still cold?
Windy, yeah.
Thank you. All right. Take it over. I need to be. Oh, it's over here. The board will hear 2 hearings today, numbered as 8206, revisiting a conditional use revocation hearing regarding 3765 Gravois, and numbered 8208, revisiting a conditional use revocation hearing regarding 710 Russell. During the hearings today, the testimony is being recorded. If you come forward to testify, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of the board may have questions for you. Following the hearings today, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the agenda, the board will deliberate and vote on the hearings. The board will notify the permit holders of its decision by mail. Hearing number 8206 was first held on October 30th, 2017. The board voted to allow the conditional use holder additional time to come into compliance with the condition permit. Today, hearing 8206 will revisit the conditional use revocation hearing. The hearing today is being conducted pursuant to Section 26.100.030 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether the conditional use permit issued to Gravois Quick Stop, CO Abdullah Al-Hakmi, to occupy 3765 Gravois as a convenience store with cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions, should be revoked. The condition use permit is numbered as 123989. The conditions at question are conditions 2, 3, and 4, which read as follows. Condition 2. All signage displayed in the windows shall not cover more than 20% of the total window area, and cigarette and vendor brand names shall be prohibited. Condition 3. The applicant shall obtain a permit from the St. Louis Building Division for all signage, and the signage must be approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator. Condition 4, there shall be no sale of items that can double as drug paraphernalia, including food scales, blunt cigars, example, White Owl, Tan and Black, Swisher Sweets, etc., glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling paper, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of Section 26.100.030 of the Zoning Code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, Conditional Use Permit Number 123989, issued to Abduladi Al-Hakmi, DBA Gravoy Quick Stop, to occupy 3765 Gravoy as a convenience store with cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions. Condition 3, a letter dated July 31st, 2017, sent to Abduladi Al-Hakmi, DBA Gravoy Quick Stop, from the zoning inspector warning of the violations of condition numbers 2, 3, and 4 that were found upon a recent site inspection and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days of the date of the letter. Item 4, a memorandum from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator stating that upon her reinvestigation performed on September 5th, 2017, the zoning inspector still found violations of conditions 2, 3, and 4 of the conditional use permit. Item 5, public notices for today's hearing. Item 6, a certified letter dated November 28, 2017, sent to the conditional use permit holder from the board secretary providing notice of today's hearing. The Office of the Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the zoning administrator has been presented, the board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then, the conditional use permit holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the board will hear testimony from others in opposition to the revocation, if any. At this time, the board asks the representative of the Office of the Zoning Administrator to please come forward and be sworn in.
Raise your right hand, please. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
So help me God.
State your name for the board.
My name is Myra Turner. I'm zoning inspector for the city of St. Louis.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you please tell the board about your investigations?
My investigation as of today, there's still some signage in the windows. Also, he did apply for a permit for the ground sign and the major sign on the front of the building, but there's still a light up EBT sign on the building that I have not found a permit for. He still has the cigars, and he has the what he calls the hookah pipes, but he still has those within the building.
So, in summary, we still have some signage issues that are in violation, and we still have hookah pipes that are displayed.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Any questions from the board to the zoning inspector? Thank you very much. If there's anyone else present who wishes to testify in support of the revocation, please come forward and be sworn in. Saying none, the board asks the conditional use permit holder to please come forward and be sworn in. I'd like to note for the record that the conditional use permit holder is not present at this hearing. If there's anyone present opposing this revocation who wishes to come forward and testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none. At this time, I'd like to introduce additional document today into evidence, which is item A, which is the zoning inspector's report submitted during this hearing. The matter concerning hearing number 8206 is now closed and submitted. The board will now move on to hearing number 8208. Hearing number 8208 was first held on November 7th, 2017. The board voted to allow the conditional use holder additional time to come into compliance with the condition permit. Today, hearing 8208 will revisit the conditional use revocation hearing. The hearing today is being conducted pursuant to Section 26.100.030 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The purpose of the hearing is to determine whether the conditional use permit issued to Energy Express Convenience, CO John Geis, to occupy 710 Russell as a convenience store per plans should be revoked. The conditional use permit is numbered as 108318. The condition at question is condition number 5, which reads as follows. All banners, pennants, and similar devices designed for temporary outdoor display shall be prohibited. All graphics shall be exhibited as a permanent source or displayed from permanently mounted backgrounds. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1. A certified copy of Section 26.100.030 of the Zoning Code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2. The conditional use permit numbered as 108318 issued to Don Geitz, DBA, Energy Express Convenience, to occupy 710 Russell as a convenience store per plan subject to certain conditions. Item 3. A letter dated July 7, 2017, sent to John Geitz, DBA, Energy Express Convenience, from the zoning inspector warning of the violation of condition number 5 that were found upon a recent site inspection and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days of the date of the letter. Item 4. A memorandum from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator stating that upon her reinvestigation performed on August 10, 2017, the zoning inspector still found violations of condition number 5 of the conditional use permit. Item 5, public notices for today's hearing. And item 6, a certified letter dated November 8, 2017, sent to the conditional use permit holder from the board secretary providing notice of today's hearing. The Office of the Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the Zoning Administrator has been presented, the board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then the conditional use holder will be given an opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. At this time, the board asks the representative of the Office of Zoning Administrator to please come forward and be sworn in.
Right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God. My return as zoning inspector for the City of St. Louis.
Can you please tell the board about your investigations?
My investigation as of today, he has made application for the LED window signs that's up on the windows up in the store. However, he still has temporary signage because he still has the cigarette signs in the window, and they are temporary.
Okay. So we have a permit issued or made application for a permit for some of the signage, but there are still some violations remaining besides that.
Well, he made an application for all of those signs that are lit across the front of his building.
Okay.
But he still has those cigarette signs in the window, and those are temporary signs.
And have you had a conversation with him recently about those signs in the window?
I had a conversation with him today.
And what was his demeanor?
His demeanor was more so, why does Quick Trip have the signs that they have? And, again, I had to explain to him that I was not there to talk about anybody's business but his.
So I think we would all agree that we're not here to talk about Quick Trip today. We're here to talk about the conditional use that is in question. And so the conversation needs to pertain specifically to that.
Yes, sir.
And so when you've asked him to remove them in the past, has he been cooperative with that?
No, he said that he thought that Mr. Geis, the store manager said he thought Mr. Geis was getting permits for them. And I explained to him that Mr. Geis can't get permits for them because they're temporary signage.
That's right. Okay. Does the board have any further questions for the zoning inspector?
Wasn't this really contentious between the with the Board of Adjustment? Wasn't this property and Alderman Kodar present recently on this property and Board of Adjustment hearing?
I'm not really sure,
Okay.
Nolan.
Okay, never mind.
Any further questions? Thank you very much. If there's anyone else present who wishes to testify in support of the revocation, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, the board asks the conditional use permit holder to please come forward and be sworn in. I'd like to note for the record that the conditional use permit holder is not present at today's hearing. If there's anyone present opposing this revocation that wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none, I'd like to add additional document into evidence, item A, which is the zoning inspector's report submitted during today's hearing. The matter concerning hearing number 8208 is now closed and submitted. The board will now proceed with its regular agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Here.
Director Wilson.
Here.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin.
Here.
Director Moore.
Here.
Director Edwards is excused. And President Bradley.
Here we have a quorum. I call the meeting to order.
From the President, Addendum Number 1 for letting number 8654 PA System Replacement, Phase 2 at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. Supplemental Agreement Number 12 to PSA Number 1138 Electrical, Mechanical, and Plumbing Design Services, Lambert St. Louis International Airport. Supplemental Agreement Number 13 to PSA Number 1138 Electrical, Mechanical, and Plumbing Design Services, Lambert St. Louis International Airport. Supplemental Agreement Number 14 to PSA Number 1138 Electrical, Mechanical, and Plumbing Design Services, Lambert St. Louis International Airport. Recommendation that the board declares as emergency action Work for America Center's Infrastructure Extension for Newhow 5 SOC and Dome Control 13, St. Louis, Missouri. From the Director of Public Utilities, recommendation that the board declares as an emergency to make all necessary repairs to Chain of Rock Softening Basin Number 3 Samuto Gearbox. Recommends approval. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. MCI Metro, access 2-inch HDPE pipes to be placed for fiber cable starting at handhole located at 2817 Utah. Began boring east along the north side of Utah for 635 feet, placing handhole at 2735 Utah, etc. SSM SLUH Inc. to encroach with the electric feeder duct bank from new electrical substation at 39th and Vista to the new St. Louis University Hospital between Grand, Rutgers, Spring, and LaSalle. Union Electric Company, doing business as Amarin, Missouri, to provide new electrical services for property at 601 Waterworks Road. The proposed overhead line must cross City of St. Louis Water Division property at 955 Hog Hollow Road. Union Electric Company, doing business as Amarin, Missouri, to construct new conduit duct banks on Market between 16th and 21st and on 18th between Chestnut and 200 feet south of the intersection of Market and 18th. Union Electric Company, doing business as Amarin, Missouri, to install new poles to provide new electric service to 4650 Hampton Avenue to Sulphur Avenue. Union Electric Company, doing business as Amarin, Missouri, to construct new conduit duct banks on Elliott between Gamble and Dayton, on abandoned O'Fallon between Jefferson and North 20th, and on Jefferson between Cass and Gamble. From the Director of Public Utilities and Public Safety, joint recommendation that the following permits be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Stephen D. and Mary Beth Mess for a boundary adjustment at 7100 Cordova and 3904 Blow in City Block 6401. MBR South Grand Property LLC for boundary adjustment at 2232 through 2256 South Grand in City Block 1367. 1405 Investors LLC, care of Coleman Group, to consolidate land at 4105, 4113, 4117, and 4121 Shoto in City Block 3965. An amended Lighthouse, St. Louis, to subdivide land at 11050 and 11110 Riverview in City Block 9121. Recommends approval. From the Director of Public Safety, we have the conditional uses.
Good afternoon, Mr. President and members of the board. My name is Michael Vicentiner, zoning plan examiner for the city, and I'll be representing the building commissioner at today's meeting. Per board order number 766, transmitted herewith are recommendations for the following conditional use agenda applications. Approval with conditions is recommended for 4 applications at 7021 through 23 South Broadway, 4130 South Grand, 2500 through 2510 North Spring, 2512 through 2522 North Spring, and denial is recommended for 1 application at 3746 St. Louis Avenue.
Are there any questions on the conditional uses? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
Move to approve the conditional uses as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded for approval. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie?
Aye.
Director Wilson?
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin?
Aye.
Director Moore?
Aye.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Aye. Conditional uses are approved. I'd like to handle the 2 hearings, but before we talk about the 2 hearings, I just would like to make a comment to the board, and that would be it is concerning to myself and council that neither conditional use permit holder has attended today's hearing. And so, not saying that there was anything done inappropriately or improperly, but may have been some type of communication error. Not sure of that. So I would ask that you please keep that in mind while we're doing our deliberations here. Both of these individuals came to the last hearing, okay? So it seems odd that neither one of them would come to today's hearing. So let's do hearing number 8206 first, which is Grabway Quick Stop. And the conversation on Grabway Quick Stop was a violation of 2 conditions. We had some signage that was not properly permitted, as well as we had the display of some hookah pipes. And so that would fall under the condition concerning drug paraphernalia. So I just want to open the floor up on that and have a conversation and get some thoughts on, what the board has to think about that.
Would an alternative be to extend this 30 days and have them come back to make sure that they've verified that they've heard about this and one last chance type of option?
That's one option.
Possibility.
That's certainly an option.
I just want everyone to know the reason I was running out was I was talking to the attorney on the first matter, and he's not sure if his client did not give him the letter or what happened, but he says, I'm across town. I was not aware this was going on. So he said his client could have messed up. He doesn't know, but he did request an extension on this so he could be here next time.
Right. No, that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying we didn't send it to them. I'm just saying that there was a communication. Okay. So with that commentary in place, is there any further discussion, or someone want to make a motion?
I move we extend 30 days and revisit this. Verifying that they get a chance to be present to represent themselves.
Okay. Moved in second to extend 30 days and rehear 8206. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie?
Aye.
Director Wilson?
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin?
Aye.
Director Moore?
Aye.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Aye. Extended. Hearing 8208, which was Energy Express, and the issue with that was temporary signage that is not permitted to be put up, and the zoning inspector had a conversation with the owner of the business who was somewhat argumentative. Counsel, do you have any guidance on this one as well?
As I was mentioning prior during the questioning part, I do feel that there was a lot more involvement before when there was the Board of Adjustment on this. There were several issues going on this property, and I do remember the alderman having some capacity and being involved in this. And so I just found it kind of weird that I was not able to contact the alderman, but it's just one of those things that I thought we were going to have a little more of a discussion of the day than nobody showing up.
So similar situation where you would recommend possibly that we extend this and have an opportunity to discuss this one-on-one with the conditional use permit holder?
I think the headaches that could be caused by revoking it today would be a lot worse in the long run than just pushing this off 30 days.
Okay. Any other commentary from the board or suggestions?
I move to extend this one too by 30.
Second?
Moved and seconded for an extension. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Aye, extended. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from last Tuesday, December 5th, 2017. Are there any questions, comments, additions, or subtractions to the minutes?
I move to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Second?
Moved and second for approval of minutes. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Aye, minutes are approved. Today's agenda, questions or comments on the agenda?
Under hearing number 2, 8608 should be 8208.
Noted. Any other questions or comments?
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second?
Moved and second for approval as amended. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes is excused. Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Moore.
Aye.
Director Edwards is excused, and President Bradley.
Aye. The agenda is approved as amended. Motion for adjournment, please.
I move we adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.